So Aesop, he was back there in the 500 BCs or some shit. Apparently from Greece. He was a slave from Greece. Hercules and the Wagoner. Androcles and the lion. So the lion has a splinter and Androcles pulls the splinter out and then the lion is appreciative. And you know, there's sticker bushes around here, and whenever I pull a sticker out of one of my dogs' paws, they are very appreciative too. And it's like, yep, you owe me. Nope, I saved your life. The ant and the grasshopper, legendary. Aesop's fable, we learned so much. The wolf, the boy who cried wolf. Don't lie, right? Don't lie. People won't believe you. If all you do is lie. If you just lie, wolf, 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 and then there's no, where's the wolf? And then you're laughing, ah, ha, ha, ha. Hercules and the Wagoner, the horse and the laden ass. The horse and the laden ass, that's the donkey. That's the talking donkey right there. The donkey had asked the horse, hey, can you carry some of my load? And the horse was like, no, I will only carry my load. And then the donkey dies. He had too much of a load and he was dehydrated. It was too hot. He collapsed of fatigue and dies. Now the horse has to carry both the donkey stuff and his own stuff. So see what the fuck happened, you piece of shit horse? You couldn't help your buddy. You didn't have no empathy. You didn't have no solidarity. You didn't have no friendship, or you didn't believe in the golden rule, you piece of shit. That horse was not a Christian at all. Hey, could you help a little bit with my load? Never! Oh, you're a piece of shit. We're like next. We are literally walking side by side. I don't give a shit. I may be physically by your side, but I will never be mentally or soulfully. You won't even be my soul side. You won't even be on the side of my soul. The fox and the lion. The wolf and the lamb. That's a classic story too. The wolf and the lamb. The lamb is just sitting there drinking at the river, and the wolf wants to eat the lamb and fuck the lamb over. And then the lamb is like, I'm just a wee little lamb. I've done nothing to you. And the wolf was like, oh, you done something to me. You're drinking up the water. You're messing the water up, and you're messing my water up, and I'm pissed off. The lamb's like, I'm down the river. There's no, you're messing my water up. So that can't be. And then the wolf was like, well, okay, then you must be your father. Your father was talking shit about me, and I'm gonna eat you because of that. And then the lamb is like, no, you are mistaken. It wasn't my father. That was another father. Well, it must have been you or something. It doesn't fucking matter. The wolf was going to eat the lamb no matter fucking what. The excuse, the reason, they didn't need a fucking reason. The wolf wanted to eat the lamb because the wolf is a fucking predator. And he likes to eat little lambs. Or she. Could be a she-wolf. Wasn't Remulus and Romulus suckled by a she-wolf? Or is that the Jungle Book? What's that guy's name? Mowgli? The angler and the little fish. The little fish is like, oh, please, fisherman, just let me go. You let me go, I'll get big and fat, and then you can come back and get me later. And the moral of the story is, do not listen to a desperate person. They will say whatever. A friend in need is a friend indeed. A friend in need is a friend in... The fawn and the mother. The ant and the grasshopper. Another one. Basically, get to work, motherfucker. You're gonna, steal other people's... You've been goddamn dancing all summer, and now you're gonna steal the people that worked all fucking... You didn't do shit. You idled and laid around and leisured about. Everybody around you did a whole bunch of work, and they have a whole bunch of grain. They store grain. And then you want to be like a Don Diego de Vargas and steal the Native Americans' food. You didn't do shit, but the Native Americans worked all goddamn summer for their food. And then you're just going to come over around and steal their fucking food because you're a lazy pile of shit. You're the grasshopper. The ants did all the work and the grasshoppers. But if the ants are smart, they'll just say no. And then the grasshopper, he dies. No, you didn't do any work, you piece of... And that's a good lesson. Work. If you're in a hole, if you're in a ditch, only you're going to pull yourself out. And you got to take care of yourself. Be radically self-reliant. Androcles and the lion, the goose with the golden eggs. There's a farmer that had a goose that was laying golden eggs. One golden egg every day. And he was getting rich. But then he got greedy and he was like, I need another golden egg. Hurry up with the golden eggs. And he takes the goose and he cuts the goose open and he looks inside and he doesn't see any golden eggs inside the goose. So don't be a dumb piece of shit who doesn't understand basic science. An ass in skin's clothes. Jupiter and the bee. Jupiter and the bee. There was something about the bee was being petty and then Jupiter did something like kind of like the snake, how God made the snake crawl in its belly. The bee was like being stuck up or something. So Jupiter's like, okay, I'll let you defend yourself, but just once. And once you do, then you die. It's like, shit, Jupiter. Jupiter's the big god, right? He's Zeus. Jupiter is Zeus. Not Yahweh. Jupiter and Zeus are so much better than Yahweh. And so is fucking goddamn Hercules. Hercules and Hermes is better than Yahweh. Hermes can run circles around Yahweh. Hercules could bench press Yahweh. Jupiter's like 25 times bigger than fucking Jehovah. Jehovah, Yahweh, God don't even know his fucking name. Abraham. Why am I mentioning all this? Because these stories actually have morals. At the end of each one of these stories, you have a moral. At each one of these stories, you have a moral. But when it comes to the Bible, those stories, oh, okay, Adam lived to be 900 years old, huh? And Noah lived to be 600 years old, huh? But Ham saw Noah naked, and therefore Ham is going to be banished and cursed. You saw your father naked. Well, he was dressing, and I'm just, what are you talking about? It wasn't my fault. But Ham is going to get fucked over. But meanwhile, Lot, that asshole, was raping his own progeny. So fuck Lot. And what are those, the Ammonites and the Moabites? So the Moabites and the Ammonites, they get to fucking live freely, but Moses is going to what? Genocide all the Midianites? What the fuck did the Midianites ever fucking do? So poor Ham, he just saw, got a glimpse of his father naked, didn't do anything, didn't do any harm to anybody. He wasn't like a fucking nasty, disgusting Lot. They say his wife turned into a pillar of salt. Bullshit. He got rid of his wife. So he could be a creepy fucking Philip and Nancy Garrido. So he could be a fucking Samantha McDonald. So when I think about the stories of the Bible, I mean, in the beginning, there's some stories, right? Cain and Abel and Adam and Eve. And there's something with Cain and Abel. Don't be jealous. But God was being a petty fucking bitch. Oh, I like your offerings, but not yours. But let's just take the Tower of Babel. So God doesn't want us to collaborate, because that's how we got out of Africa, with language. We got out of Africa 50,000 years ago. Adam got out of Africa 50,000 years ago because of language, and language helps us to cooperate. And we were just building a Tower of Babel, but they were trying to build a tower to God. You can never reach God because I am just too far high up. There is no God up there. So it doesn't matter how tall you, that's the point. The fucking priest didn't want you to try to build a tower up to God, because you'd find out there is no God. And we have skyscrapers, and skyscrapers still don't, reach the fucking clouds or reach fucking space. So how tall was this Tower of Babel? Tower of Babel? God is going to curse everybody and give them different languages and different tongues, and then they can't talk to each other, and then they quit with the project, and then nobody knows how to build the damn tower anymore. So he fucks everything up. We were all being cooperative, and we were building skyscrapers and shit. Then this motherfucker comes along and says, hey, you speak a different language, and then you speak a different language, and then you speak a different language. That doesn't help. What's the lesson of that? There's no fucking lesson, except for if you're the priest, right? Eat the apple. There's another dumb story. Don't eat the apple from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Why? Because you're supposed to rely on the priest for their knowledge of good and evil. You're not supposed to think for yourself. You have to go to the priest and say, hey, what's good and evil? I don't fucking know. I'm a tiny little brain person. I will never eat the apple of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So it's not like just don't eat the apple. It's a metaphor saying don't you fucking think about what's bad and what's good. Don't even think about it. Leave it to the priest. So that's a terrible fucking lesson. Don't think about shit. Islam is submission. So, okay, God, I obey God. Whatever you say, God. Israel is wrestles with God. So that's, nah, God, fuck you, God. Get the hell out of here, God. What the hell you doing, God? Quit fucking with me, God, you piece of shit. Jacob had to wrestle with God. Literally, he came out of the fucking shadows out of nowhere, started wrestling with him, and then he attached him on his hip, and then he begged to be let go. Please, Jacob, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to attack. I didn't mean to sucker punch. Blood and dirt to make human. A rib. And then woman was made out of a rib. Insanity. And the horse and there's a talking donkey in the Bible too. So Cain and Abel, Adam and Eve, Tower of Babel, it's all bullshit.